up for your host again, Bitsy Byron. And give it up for yourselves, Barry. Nice. Nice being back in Barry. I like how you guys pretend that Burlington's a real city. And you treat us like superstars. So, but you guys are Bitsy's right, you have an excellent reputation as an audience, so give it up for yourselves. Did I just say that? Yeah. So it's back. I like being in Barry. I went to Manchester for the first time last weekend for a show. That's also a real city. I had no idea. It was so large. Mainly because I'm from Alabama, and anything above the Mason-Dixon line is just a myth to us. You know, like, what do you mean we can all drink from the same fountain? I love Vermont, I do. And mostly, when I first moved here, I didn't understand this whole seventh generation thing you guys have. Like, if you're not a seventh generation Vermonter, you're not a real Vermonter. But then, when I got out of Vermont and came back, I get it. You know, because when you come back to Vermont, it's like crawling back into the womb. You know, you people have just been in the fetal position for the past 7 generations, so that's why it's so wonderful here. Yeah, there's been a lot of fetal position jokes here tonight, so that's not new. No, but really, when I tell people back home, they're like, well, I live in Vermont. And they're like, yeah, that's above Maine, right? And I'm like, no, that would be Canada. They're like, oh yeah, it's a state that's shaped like a mitten. I'm like, well, if you mean Michigan, above that, also Canada. Still Canada. So, to be fair, how many of you people in here can list all the states that border Alabama? Reggie is probably the only one. Geography lesson. No, I'm also a writer, so you also have a particular hatred for us writers, because all the writers moved to Vermont to buy up all those farmhouses that we're never going to refurbish, just so that we can work on that novel we're never going to finish. Basically, I am a writer. I gotta stop telling people this because it intimidates people. You know, like my friends feel compelled to hire a proofreader just to send me a text message. Seriously, and it's true though, because it's my own bias. You know, I just sound like a Republican bitching about gay marriage when I talk about language. You know, like people and their run-on sentences and their comma splices just ruining the sanctity of language for the rest of us. So I get it. It's my bias. However, I do think that I have a legitimate fear that one day our entire language is just going to turn into one big emoticon, you know? Like you'll open the newspaper, it'll just be a series of smiley faces. Oh, did you see this in the news about the president? Yeah, it looks like he's sad about something. Yeah. I'm also Jewish. Thank you. One Jew in the room. I gotta get serious here for a second, though, folks. Let's stop it with the anti-Semitism, really. I mean, honestly, if for no other reason, it is just, hating Jews is just so passé. I mean, come on. Can we not get over this? Okay, that joke didn't go well last night either. All right, let's move on. Gonna stop with the Jew jokes. Let's see. Oh, I got a new phone, and this may not seem exciting to you folks, but if you saw my last phone, I might as well have had the first telephone ever. I was gonna say flip phone, but okay. Anyway, so no, I got this new phone. I was so excited I was gonna download all these apps, but then I forgot my fucking password. And I don't know if you know, Apple has this crazy security system. So I had to call the Apple support guy, and he's like, and I picked the worst security questions ever. Like the first one was, what was your first album? And as a neurotic Jewish writer, I was like, well that depends. You know, I mean, are you talking about when I was 8 years old and I convinced my favorite aunt to buy me Guns N' Roses' Appetite for Destruction? Or when I was in the 6th grade and I saved up and bought Out of Time because I love that song Losing My Religion by R.E.M. and I had a huge crush on Michael Stipe. I should have known I was gay. And the guy was like, yeah, ma'am, that's the wrong answer. So the next question was, what is your dream job? And I was like, fuck, man, I don't know. Like, I'm unemployed. Any fucking job would be my dream job at this point. I was going to go back to the writer thing for a second, though. I hope that whole emoticon thing doesn't work because, you know, there are very subtle ways of telling people, go fuck yourself. And my favorite example of this is the phrase, with all due respect. You know when you get that email from a coworker that just starts, with all due respect. That person's calling you a douchebag, basically. Dealing with this. I am unemployed. I lost my job. Well, I got fired for the first time from my job recently. Yeah, it sucked. Because the worst part of it was that they gave me some bullshit excuse, you know, like they sat me down in the HR office and they're like, Ashley, we just feel that you're not putting the company first. And what I really wanted to say to them was, I have worked here for 1.5 years, and you morons are just now figuring that out? But I don't like to burn bridges. So instead, I just said, listen, with all due respect. That's my time. Thank you guys. It's been a great audience.